Got my teeth done. Hey ladies, welcome back. I cannot believe that I went to Turkey, another country, to get my teeth done. I have been manifesting this for a really long time, over a year. I didn't really know if I was going to be able to do it. Fortunately for me, where there's a will, there's a way, and I was able to fly out there, make that dream come true, and get my confidence back. I didn't get every single one of my teeth done. You are going to be able to notice that because if you see, you're going to see some spaces in the back of my teeth. I've got 3 teeth in the back that were not done. I still need to get my permanent crowns in, which I have to go back later for. So those teeth are not there, but the vast majority of my teeth did get done. Also, the 2 teeth on the top in the back on both sides were not touched either. They felt it was better to do those the next time I came back out. But for the most part, all of my teeth were shaved down and crowned, and I could not be happier with the decision. That was what I needed to do to give me the smile that I wanted to have. And I really felt like I was in capable hands based on the work that I had seen this clinic do before. I'll tell you where I went at the end of this video, but just know that I am very, very happy with the decision that I made. I've suffered from a deep bite and missing and broken teeth for a long time, but my problems stem back to when I was a kid, when I was allowed to suck my thumb and I ended up with buck teeth. So embarrassing. I dealt with that for a lot of my teenage years and early adulthood. I've had braces and Invisalign and had teeth removed to try to fix my bite as best as I could, but I wasn't really able to get it aligned the way I should have been, because not only could I not afford to keep up with the treatments financially, but I do think that in my case, on my father's side, my deep bite was hereditary. I was reading a bit about that. So I do think having a deep bite is hereditary. Getting crowns does not fix a deep bite, and I'm perfectly okay with it because I do like my smile, I do like how I look, and I did not want to undergo jaw surgery. I'm not going to write that off in the future, but it's just not something that I wanted to do right now, especially since I was able to get the money to do this. I just figured I'm going to go to someone that I think can help me, and I'm going to have to be okay with my deep bite, and I am. I think I look perfectly fine just with it. Okay, I didn't want to show all this stuff, but I might as well be transparent. These are my original teeth before I had anything pulled, any braces, any of that. You can see that I had a lot of mercury fillings. Those ended up falling apart. Here's a look at my deep bite. I did have a small cavity at the top there. You can see here in these next few pictures, this is the real problem. My top jaw, those 3 spaces, they might look really small, but they look really bad. When you're trying to smile from the side, you can see that there were some teeth there. I was not able to have those closed because I didn't finish the Invisalign treatment because I couldn't afford them. And then on my bottom jaw, I just had the mercury fillings fall apart, so I have some broken teeth. And I did have a couple of missing spaces that needed to be addressed as well. Missing teeth, I mean. So that was everything that was pretty much going on with my mouth. Otherwise, I really did like my teeth. You can see here I had some quotes that I had gotten from some local dentists. They wanted 16 grand for implants and another 8 grand for crowns with somebody else. I had a quote for braces where I considered just closing those spaces and not getting them filed down, but I didn't want to wait the 2-year process for that, especially since I didn't know if the braces were going to correct my deep bite at all. And then I also contacted a jaw specialist in California who wanted 90 grand to not only fix my jaw, but also replace all of my teeth with crowns, and that was a ripoff. I had also gotten quotes from other dentists that were in the $30,000 range, but after a while, you just get tired of going to dentists, showing everybody your mouth, getting lots of x-rays, and even having some dentists look at you like something's fucking wrong with you because you took so long to stay on top of your teeth. So you just get tired of being vulnerable and exposed to everybody and having them also try to rip you off, knowing that you are extremely insecure about your smile and that you don't have your confidence. Most dentists just want to fucking rip their patients off. They know that you care a lot about how other people view you and that you're willing to go into any amount of debt just to get that fixed. And that is not something that I was willing to do. A lack of confidence is the reason I was not consistent with my YouTube videos in the past. I was always very self-conscious about how I looked. When I was on camera, I thought everybody was looking in my mouth, and that really, really bothered me. So that's why I didn't put out a lot of videos. But now that I love that I pretty much have a complete smile, I'm going to be talking all the time now. I came across several influencers on Instagram who went overseas to get their teeth done. I did my research, saw that they were getting excellent work at a price that they could afford. And I took that dive. I said, you know what? That's for me. This is where I want to go. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to manifest this. And I was able to make that happen. And I want to take you on that journey now and show you exactly how I was able to get my teeth fixed and get my confidence back. I had to take 3 flights to get to Turkey. So first stop was Chicago. That was my first time ever being there. The weather wasn't so great, but it was okay. It's a decent airport. Talked to a few people, grabbed some lunch, and prepared to fly to Frankfurt, Germany for a layover. I flew with United for both of my flights out of the country. I don't know what your budget is, but if you can, flying Premium Plus is the way to go. The seats were extremely comfortable. The service was amazing. I'm lucky that I didn't have anybody seated next to me, so I had my little row to myself. And I did also choose to bring my own pillow and blanket, which were very comfortable. So that made my flight very, very enjoyable, was not being all the way in the back. The dinner was very, very hot. It was really good. And I pretty much just kind of slept for a good chunk of the flight there. Frankfurt is the worst airport I've ever been to. They were very, very strict about how many liquids you could have with you and made me dump a few of the containers I had, which were all within the 3-ounce limit. So I did not enjoy my time there and will try to avoid that airport in the future. But I did appreciate that they did have a lot of diversity there. They did implement the spacing because of COVID. So everybody's got their masks on. My flight was delayed for about 2 hours, so I was running thinking I was going to be late to my gate, but I ended up making it and having to sit around a lot longer than I wanted to. But it was interesting just to see the people around and see a police presence there doing their jobs. I finally made it to Antalya. It looked absolutely stunning as I was landing. I couldn't believe that I was finally in the place that I had been thinking about for well over a year. Look at that view. The dental clinic does arrange for a driver to pick you up and take you to your hotel from the airport, and they will also take you back once your trip is completely done. That is $60 to and from. You can pay them at the clinic. You do not pay that to the driver directly. So my driver met me there, grabbed my bags for me, showed me into the van, which was exactly what I expected it to be because I had seen it in other people's videos. They stock it with drinks for you, masks, sanitizer. They don't speak English, so they did avoid conversation with me throughout my trip, but they do take tips, and I definitely tipped some of them along the way. I don't know what I was expecting the city and people to look like because I didn't really do any research beforehand, so I was just filming everything and taking it all in. The man who checked me into my hotel room, he was extremely helpful. He was fluent in English, very accommodating. He let me look at several different rooms actually just to see which one I would like. I did stay in my initial room for a few days and switched over, but I found all of the staff to be very kind and appreciative of the fact that I was a guest there, so I couldn't have asked for better service. You guys, this is it. This is my first appointment. I was so nervous on the way there. I really didn't know how to feel. They did send me an email telling me what to expect in the different visits, but I couldn't believe I was finally driving to this place. I was going to see it in person, talk to the dentist, and see if they were going to be able to help me, because there was a small chance that I would have flown out there for nothing, but I'm glad that ended up not being the case. I was welcomed by their staff and taken inside. You do have to have your temperature taken and be wearing a mask as soon as you get there, so they are acknowledging COVID protocols. I filled out some paperwork, had a drink at the famous Fresh Pegs, went in for some x-rays, and then had my consultation. You can only film certain things with their permission, so I tried to be very mindful of what I was recording. You can't record too much in the operating rooms while they're doing any treatments, but here is where you are going to make your choice if you want the zirconium crowns, Emax, Celtra Duo. There are some differences. The main difference I found would be the translucency, and I didn't want my teeth to really be see-through, so I chose zirconium. And here is where you can look at some of the shades that they have. It's really, really hard to tell looking at them, but once you choose, you better be sure, because your choices are final. After I was done, I had to wait a little bit of time for my ride, so I decided to pop into the convenience store next door. When you're in a foreign country, I don't know why, this stuff is just interesting to you. You want to know what it looks like, what kind of snacks and stuff they have. So I just bought a couple of things for my room and paid using Turkish money, so that was just a new experience for me. You are going to see a lot of dogs hanging around doing whatever the hell they want, which I thought was pretty funny. I actually thought it was going to be cats, because I've seen other people's videos and there's tons of cats all over the place, but instead I saw a bunch of dogs. Not only did I not really see any cats, I also did not see a lot of black people. There was maybe one in the dental clinic. So if that's something that, you know, matters to you, just be prepared for that. You really are not going to see any. I walked a little further down the street. I just kind of wanted to explore my surroundings, but not too much, because I was afraid of getting too far from the clinic. So I went back, got a ride back to my hotel, and this is pretty much what most of the city looks like. All the buildings pretty much look the same. It is very, very hot out there. It was at least 107 degrees every day, so you do want to prepare yourself for that by drinking a lot of water and wearing a lot of sunscreen as well. My treatment actually started the next day. The reason for that is because since I was very worried about how wide they were going to have to make my teeth to close those spaces, they ended up just doing a mock-up of what it might look like. So I came in the next day, and that's what you're looking like. It's a plastic that they put over my teeth. It's not fully on there. It's kind of hanging down a little bit, so it's not fully accurate, but I really had to make my decision based off of that. I then got my teeth filed down, which took several hours. I did not take a picture of my baby shark teeth because I did not want to see my teeth like that. I got my implants right afterwards. I was there for about 6 hours. I was the last person to leave, so it did take quite a while. FYI, the injections really do hurt, but they do them really quickly, and whatever it is that they use to numb you, it kicks in fast because they start working on you seconds after numbing you. They put a paper towel and mask over my face because I was drooling saliva everywhere, and then took me to the pharmacy to get my medications, which I paid about maybe $30 for, but I was still bleeding all over the place. You can see how bad my shirt and pants looked. I couldn't talk, and my face was swelled up like this, honestly, for about the next 5 days. I just wanted to show you a quick shot of what my hotel looked like at night, so at least you can see that I did have a beautiful view. Since I did have to spend a lot of time in my room, I did order food to eat from the hotel, but it wasn't really what I wanted. This is kind of some of what they had. I did eat a lot of tiramisu and cheesecake, but you know, after a while, the same food gets pretty boring, especially if it's not what you really wanted. My videographer showed up 2 days after I got my implants. That is exactly why you do not see my face in my opening video, which is really unfortunate. I just look so bad, and I did not want to look like that in this video. So we just drove all over the place filming different footage. It was very hot, very uncomfortable wearing those heels. I had brought all that stuff because I wanted it in my video, but we made the best of it. I did hire the car service as well to drive us everywhere that we needed to go. The videographer wasn't 100% fluent in English, but he definitely knew enough to communicate with me and translate to our driver everywhere that I wanted to go and everything that I wanted to do. So that was extremely helpful to have him on board. I will link him in the description box just in case you're in town and you're interested in documenting your trip professionally. He does live in Istanbul, but I had to pay his fee for him to come to my city and be there all day. I got my new teeth put in that same day. I did have to make a few different adjustments. They will adjust them for you as many times as you'd like. So that appointment can take an hour or several hours if you really are that unhappy, but they'll do the best they can. I then went down for x-rays, and that is my teeth cemented in. There is a Domino's next door. I didn't eat there, but of course I was curious. I just wanted to go in, see what their menu looked like, see if it was anything like back at home. My understanding is that it's probably not that good, but I wasn't in a position to eat anyways because you can't have anything that's too hot or too cold right after you get your teeth put in. So I just went back to another convenience store, grabbed some snacks for my room, and just kind of hung out. The women dressed there like they do back at home. Some had on short shorts and short dresses. None of them were wearing burqas. I only saw that once at the airport, so it's just important to note that here. Day after is going to be your final checkup. For me, that was appointment number 4, but you're probably only going to have 3 visits. We pretty much just discussed my bite, making sure everything looked how I wanted it to, that it felt fine, and we just discussed my next appointment and everything that was going to happen once I come back and how it's all going to be complete. But I loved my dentist. He was very nice, made me feel very comfortable. These are my medicines that I took while I was there. Have to get a second round of prescriptions from the clinic. That blue pill is for pain. It works so damn well. I only needed 2 of them. I have not touched them since, so I will be using them here in America if I get a headache. Here's my gum shield that I have to wear every single night. It's comfortable for the most part. Here is the bag they give you that's got your gum shield, a pamphlet in it, just a few other things. I do highly recommend that you buy a water flosser, which I did after I got back home. I haven't used it yet, but it's supposed to be really, really good. I was really, really hungry, and so I wanted to get to the nearest McDonald's, which ended up being inside of a mall. The drivers on behalf of the clinic can only take you to one place, so I just told them, go ahead and drop me off at the mall so that I can get myself something to eat, which also meant I was going to have to take a taxi for the first time back to my hotel room, but the mall was not that far at all, so I just went ahead and got dropped off there. I was able to drive into downtown Antalya, which I had not seen before because my hotel was only a 2-minute drive from the clinic. So I did get to see a whole lot more of the city. And here is their mall. I highly recommend you stop by here. It's very, very nice inside, and they have so many American stores that you would recognize and want to shop at. Of course, Sephora. What girl doesn't love going in there for makeup? The mall is about 3 stories. You do have to wear a mask inside the whole time, and there is security. So I didn't check out the entire mall, but I did walk around quite a bit before I made it to the food court. They do have several American restaurants here: Burger King, KFC, Subway, McDonald's. So you do have some options if you are not wanting to try anything different like me. My taxi driver on the way home was actually pretty amazing. I did use Google Translate to tell him that I needed to get back to my hotel really fast. The only reason I said that is because I did read a lot that drivers will take you the long way just so that they could get more money out of you. But my driver, I don't sense that he did that. I got where I wanted to go in a pretty timely manner. He was trying to be talkative. He was telling me that he has a cousin studying in college in New York, but his English was a bit limited, so couldn't say too much. But he was showing me around, letting me know that there's only 2 million people who live in Antalya, but there's about 22 million in Istanbul. So I think I am going to try to stop by there on my way back into the country when it's time to come back for my treatments. I was trying not to make too much of an assumption about how people were living based on what the outside buildings looked like. There wasn't anything though that was overly grand and really nice like you would see back home, but you know, people seemed to be happy overall. My driver did see that I was recording a lot. He offered to let me get up in the front seat, which I declined, but it just really looked really beautiful downtown. It was very lively, full of people, and I wish I could have taken a walk around, but I just didn't have the option to do that. And of course, again, it's still very, very hot out there. You really cannot walk a block without sweating your ass off. After I got back to my room, I really just had to stare at myself and realize that this was permanent. There is no turning back. You made this decision. It is what it is, and I'm fine with that. I did head across the street. There's a little convenience store across from me. They actually make pizzas in the back, and my hotel staff was recommending that I get a pizza from them instead of going to Domino's, which they thought was trash. And I agree, the pizza was so good, I ate it again the next day, but I pretty much just treated myself. Hung out in the sauna for a little bit, got a Turkish bath, which was quite a mess, but it was a lot of fun, and it was relaxing. Treated myself to an hour-long massage after that, and pretty much just went to bed and enjoyed my night. You need to buy a power converter. I got this one off of Amazon. It charges multiple devices. You are going to need that while you're there because the outlets are different. So definitely do your research. You can actually call 911 in this city, and it works. I actually tested it out a couple of hours ago, and the woman put me on hold, and I fucking hung up. And they didn't call back like they do in America, so I kind of was annoyed by that. But you can call 911 155, and I think it's 122, but it's good to test it out. It's really been bugging me that I'm having to leave at 3 in the morning. My driver's going to be here in a few minutes, so I got to go. But I didn't want to be alone with a person who doesn't speak English at that time in the morning. So I do have an alarm with me. I'll have to show you guys that stuff later. But yeah, you just got to always be concerned about your safety, especially this time of morning. I don't even like being out in America at this time of morning. I thought 3 hours was too early to be at the airport, but the clinic insisted on picking me up that early, and I'm very glad they did because the lines were very, very long. This time I flew into Amsterdam on the way back. It was so pretty to look at. It just looked so beautiful as we were coming into it. I do want to take a trip back there and visit the Anne Frank Museum, but everything was just so lush and I really enjoyed their airport. The security was a lot nicer. They were less invasive. They didn't require me to throw anything out. So it was just a much, much better experience than the other airport. I flew business class on the way back home. It was expensive, but it was definitely worth it. I was able to get a lot of sleep. I really enjoyed that flight. The food was very good. The service from the flight attendants was exceptional. They definitely catered to you, and it's the only way I want to fly really long flights going forward. I flew back in through Chicago. Do not forget your customs form. I almost forgot that. Those lines are really, really long. Since I flew business, I was able to get into the United Lounge, which was really nice. And I just stayed there for 2 hours until my flight back home to Salt Lake City. So if you can get in there, I think it's $60 individually for a day pass. I'm not sure, but it was definitely worth it. People are really fascinated by this stuff, and I was asked a lot of questions, so I'm going to answer a bunch of them here. How did I find Dental Center Turkey, and why did I pick them? I have to pay tribute to a gorgeous Black queen, Nicole Tia. I found out about her after her death, and through her, I discovered a Dental Center Turkey, so she is the reason I came here. Like that Dental Center Turkey does everything in-house, not like in America where they do your implants and then send you to somebody else to get your crowns done for a separate charge. It's a total ripoff. This country is a scam and just it's not worth it. What color did I choose? I went with the color BL2. I did not want that freaky ass DCT white, which is unique to their clinic. It stands for Dental Center Turkey. I didn't want BL1. That was also very, very white. It doesn't matter if you get the Emax, Celtra Duo, or the Zirconium, which is what I got. Those whiter shades are just really crazy. And some people, I don't think people really think through how they look once they get them because they don't change color. So they're going to stay like that until it's time for you to get some new crowns. I didn't want to look really weird and crazy, especially considering that I do have darker skin. I think it stands out a lot more. So the shade that I got, I think it looks perfectly fine. It actually is still really white. I've already had a few people comment on how white my teeth already are. But I think it's perfect. I think you should go with BL2 if you want something that looks more normal. What food can't you eat and how do your teeth feel now? You can pretty much eat whatever you want. Obviously, you don't want to be chewing on chicken bones or really anything that's very sticky, like some hard toffee. I think it's pretty common sense of the things that you should avoid, but they do feel like normal, natural teeth for the most part. They are rounded, so they're not as sharp as your natural teeth. They're still very strong, so you can pretty much chew anything. You don't want to be doing stupid stuff like opening up beer bottles. That is going to void the warranty that they give you on your teeth. My teeth feel perfectly fine now. I've been home for about a week. You do have to get used to them, but they don't feel like anything that's weird and abnormal. That's part of the reason they do have you come back after you get your teeth cemented in, is to make sure everything feels perfectly normal and so that you can make those adjustments while you're there. But my teeth feel fine. They feel just like my last teeth. They just look a lot better. So how did they fix the spaces in my mouth? Well, there's only one way to do that. If you're not going to use Invisalign or braces, which do take 2 years, I did consider that but decided against it. So the only other way is to use crowns, and by using crowns, you have to make the tooth or several teeth next to it bigger, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm going to show it to you. I don't think that the teeth are as big as some people might think they are, but basically this tooth is, they did have to make it quite wider, you can see, and it does look bigger just because the top is also so big, especially compared to this one here. But these two teeth had to be made wider to close those spaces, and I am perfectly happy with that. They said you might not like it, but that's the only way that we can do it. And I thought that they were going to be much, much bigger. I thought I was going to have some crazy looking teeth, but I think they did a really good job, and I can live with that. My front two teeth stayed the same. That was the main thing that I wanted. I said I do not want my two front teeth getting bigger. I already like the size that they are, so they kept that intact. But my side teeth also remained the same, but these two and these two got a little bit bigger, and it worked out fine. I want to give you guys a close-up real quick because I did forget to point out that these three right here are a bridge, and I think the one in the middle is always a fake tooth. And you can still see some darkness right there. That's just the stitches that they put in to close up my spaces where they put implants. I did get 4 implants done. You can still see some of the stitching back there. It's supposed to come out on its own, but here is an up close look at my teeth. And when I go back, they'll take that bridge out and it's going to be replaced with a more permanent one. Just want to show you, this is the shape of teeth that I like. I think it's perfect. Your laterals are shorter than your front teeth, and then you have your pointy canines. I don't like that look where all of your teeth come down to match each other. That just kind of looks ugly to me. All right, the answer to the most important question, how much did I pay? So you pay in full up front if you want to, or you can pay as you get treated. So when I got my teeth shaved down and my implants, that cost me $2,385. When I came back for fitting day, I then paid the balance to get my crowns put on, and that was $3,577.50. So my grand total for my first visit and everything that they did was $5,962.50. You do get that 10% discount that you see there. And $2,884 is the cost of the completed treatment when I go back. So again, 10% discount if you pay in cash or debit card. And I love that it's black and white pricing. You can also find this information on their website. Send them an email if you're interested. What documents did I need to travel over there? You do need your visa. Everybody tells you that. The weird thing about it is I was never ever asked for it. I never had to show it to anybody. I paid for it online, $50 through the official Turkish government website, but I was never ever asked for it. And as far as traveling out of the country, I only needed my vaccination card. I didn't need a COVID test because on the way out, that's all they required, and that's what I had. I am fully vaccinated. I have been for the last 2 months. I got the Pfizer shot. But on the way back from Turkey to the United States, the rules did change. My vaccination card did not count, and I did have to get a negative COVID test. My hotel set that up. They had someone come straight to my room and handle that for a small fee, which I think was about maybe 30 US dollars, and I paid that in Turkish lira. So those were the only documents that I needed to travel. I thought it was going to be a lot tougher and more complicated than it was, but it was pretty easy to do. Also want to make sure that you register so that the government knows you're in Turkey and for how long and who to contact for an emergency. Here's a quick look at the room that I stayed in. It is absolutely gorgeous. Do you see that ceiling mirror? I like hotels that look more like an apartment if I'm going to be there for an extended period of time. I knew I had to be there for at least 9 days. So this is the room that I chose. No regrets. Enjoyed the jacuzzi. So I highly recommend it if you're going to be in town. Do Turkish people speak English? Most Turkish people do not. I didn't have any trouble with the clinic. There's several people at the clinic who are very fluent in English, so that's not going to be an issue for you. My hotel only had about 3 that sounded completely fluent, so I usually spoke to the same people, but the English is mostly limited. It was very difficult to communicate with the drivers of the company that were hired to drive me to my appointments. They did not speak any English whatsoever, and that's fine. They did their jobs, and I did hire them separately on my own. But I think if you were looking to talk to a lot of people, you might feel frustrated. But I just kind of spoke to people on an as-needed basis. But for the most part, no, they are not fluent. I do think that they are very interested in American culture. There was a lot of American music playing almost everywhere that I went. Maybe they're playing it because they're trying to learn it. But no, most people don't. And I thought that they would, at least in the city I was going to, because there are a lot of British and American people going there to get their teeth done. But for the most part, no. I found that a lot of Turkish people are quick to pull out Google Translate on their phone. And so you're just going to have to communicate with them that way if you have the patience for it. Is the food disgusting over there? I am not going to say that Turkish food is disgusting. I actually didn't try it at all because I am a very, very picky eater. I can tell that I'm not going to like something just by looking at it. And I find that to be true every single time I try something that I know I shouldn't have tried. So I didn't try any of their food. I mostly just stuck to American snacks and fast food restaurants. I also couldn't eat a lot of the time because my mouth was very sore. But I really can't say. I hear it's really, really good. I should have given it a try, but I didn't. Do they accept American money? Yes, they do. There are some places where you can pay in US dollars. I didn't have any cash with me. I only had Turkish lira that I had switched over before I left. What their money looks like. I got this from a bank before I left. Most of it was for my videographer. I also relied on Yahoo Currency Converter to help me a lot when I was at the stores, restaurants, to make sure that I was not getting ripped off. I also used my debit card at several places. All you have to do is tap it, and it just kind of converts it over into American money. You do see it show up on your bank account in US dollars. So I mostly used either Turkish lira or my debit card, but they do accept some American money as well. Did I deal with any misogyny or locals acting like I needed to be with a man? No, I didn't. I really was not out and about that much around people. I definitely was rarely out at night. I was pretty isolated the whole time that I was there, so I didn't deal with any of that. Did I feel safe there? I did. I only had a couple of scares where I thought I maybe wasn't, being driven where I was supposed to go. And I was really panicked about it because I also was not in a position to speak since my mouth was so numbed up. But that ended up not being the case. So overall, I did feel safe there. Again, I mostly stuck to my hotel and other places during the day. So I can't say that I was harassed or threatened or anything like that because I wasn't. So I think you just got to be vigilant no matter where you go. Took these alarms with me everywhere I went. I got them off of Amazon. You pull out the pin and it just screams really, really loudly. So I recommend you take some. What tips or things do I recommend bringing if you get the procedure done? There's nothing that you need to bring at all other than just planning for the type of experience you want to have. If you are getting implants done, do expect quite a bit of downtime because your face is going to be puffy for a while, and it takes almost a week to go down. So it's up to you if you want to walk around in public with a puffy face. It's a good thing that we're still wearing masks right now. They're going to take care of you. You'll get your medications and whatnot. So all you need to plan for is just the trip itself. What would I do differently for my trip, knowing what I know now? I really don't want to say anything because I did enjoy the hotel that I stayed at. The only real problem was I was very afraid to take taxis, so that did keep me limited to my hotel. And since I didn't care too much for the food, I was hungry a lot. So I did spend half the time sore, but I was also very hungry because I just was not in a location where I could immediately walk to the types of restaurants that I wanted to eat at. So I think what I will be doing on the next trip is staying at a different hotel by the water so that I have a nice water view and better food access from the hotel that I'm staying at. So again, I really loved where I was. It's a gorgeous place, but the only thing I would change is just better access to American food so that I was not as miserable as I was. I'm also not going to overpack. I did do that the first time. I clearly didn't know any better. You take a lot of stuff that you think you're going to use and you don't use. So I will be sure not to make that mistake next time. All right, I think that's it for now. I'll just answer questions as they pop up in the comment section. I'm very happy that I went on this trip. It still doesn't feel real that I was able to do this. I keep saying it because it's true. I think I just thought about it for so long, even when I was on the plane and in the chair getting this done. It just wasn't hitting me that it was a reality. And I thought, well, when I get home and look at my teeth in the mirror, then it's going to feel real. And it still doesn't feel real. I think it's probably not going to feel real until after I do my second trip and then my whole mouth is completely done. Yes, I will have to go back however often to redo this, but that's still going to be a lot cheaper and better than getting the shit done here in America. Because even if you have the crowns done here, you're still going to have to replace them. So why not just go somewhere else? Don't be afraid to go overseas. Don't let people scare you into thinking that you're going to get hurt or that your work isn't going to turn out good just because it's cheap over there. You do need to do your research no matter where you go because some places are cheaper for a reason. But I researched this clinic for well over a year, saw videos of people and their outcomes, women traveling alone, and that inspired me to go overseas and have this experience. I was asked on my last day there if I wanted to give any final words into the camera. I said no, only because my face was really messed up. But I want to tell you now, I have a really high regard for Dental Center Turkey. I am going to tell you the same thing that everybody else has said about them. They are excellent, they are professional, and it's the best thing that they've ever done. This is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I'm happy I went to them, and I highly recommend them to anybody else who needs to get their teeth done at an affordable price by someone who is experienced and is going to give them a good guarantee on the work that they had done. I think they do have a pretty good warranty on their work. If you get implants, that's a lifetime guarantee that they will fix them if anything happens to them. And then as far as your crowns go, I know they give you like at least $100 towards fixing them if you get them done here. Otherwise, you can travel overseas and get them fixed there for free, as long as you weren't doing anything, really stupid and reckless to mess up your crowns. So I do think they have a pretty good guarantee on their work. There were some clinics I called that didn't offer any type of guarantee. So that was another reason that I chose Dental Center Turkey. But any questions that you guys have, just ask them and I will answer. But otherwise, I had a really good experience and I'm very happy I was able to share that with you.